I just made a huge video and realized it wasn't even recording. So I was sitting here talking to myself in my car and it wasn't recording. But anyway, I'll do it again. So this video now is going to be about the legal and accounting side of things when it comes to starting your business when you're in another country and you want to do business in America, so in Canada. And the first thing is, you're gonna basically, not all businesses need to have a business set up in America. Some businesses don't need a business in America at all. So for example, a blog, you don't need to have it set up in America to do business in America. Or say you're selling a digital product and you don't need to have a business set up in America to sell in America. But if you're doing something like Amazon is going to require you, if you want to be on Amazon.com, then you're going to have a business set up in the States. If you're going to have Amazon.ca, then you're going to want a business set up in Canada. Or same with Amazon.co.uk, business in the UK. So how do you do that? The first thing you're going to want to do before anything else is you're going to want to set up your address in that country. So in America, you're going to want to go and get a virtual address. So you could do that with Regis. There's many different companies. You could just Google different companies and a whole bunch will come up with a whole bunch of different prices. And it depends on what you want to do. So there's lots of different services that you can get with this. So there's like you could get a receptionist, you could get somebody that opens up your mail and scans your mail and sends it to you, which is a really good thing to have. You could also have somebody even pick up the phone and answer the phone. So that's a really good thing to have. It even went to the point where people could go into the business and look at samples of the product. If they were in the same city, they could do that. So I would ship them samples and people could just come in and look and try things on. So that was kind of handy, especially considering the business was online, but they could do that. They could go to the headquarters and do that. So there's lots of different services for virtual address. So you want to get a virtual address. And then you want to, okay, so like I can't give you advice, like accounting advice or legal advice. I can't do that because I'm not a lawyer and I'm not an accountant. So go see the specialist because they're going to go look in the tax act. They're going to go look in the accounting act or whatever it is. They're going to look up the law and they're going to see what the law is for your current situation. Because there's different rules for like your marital status, if you have another business, what country you're in. There's tons of different factors. And it all depends on your situation. So I can't give you exact advice for your situation. But what I can tell you though is you could go on a website that's called Legal Startup and you could go on there and they could just help you. So you could get in touch with a lawyer, you could ask them all your questions and it's online. So you could do it through email, you could do it through Skype, you could talk to them on the phone and they will answer so many of your questions and really help you out. So, you know, if you have to start an incorporation, if you have to start an LLC, whatever it is, they will help you with that. So you're going to need your address, you're going to need your bank account, you're going to need your business, and then you're going to get a form. So I'm going to give you all the forms that you need. But anyways, I'll give it to you again in this video so that you could just go to those websites, you could download the form, fill out the form for what you need, and that way you'll be well on your ways. But you do need the address, and I would suggest to get the address before you even start all that stuff because they're, you know, the lawyers are going to ask you for your address, or you can get an accountant online. I really recommend that you get your own accountant for when you do your tax and make sure it's all legal, because we pay tax and then we pay someone to make sure that we do our tax correctly. And I don't mind paying tax because, you know, like I live in Canada and I live part ways in Australia. So when I'm in Australia, I set up my business in Australia. So I pay tax there. When I'm in Canada, I pay my tax in Canada. It just depends what I'm doing at the time. So for the last year or so, I've been in Canada. I was in Australia for 10 years. Like, it just depends where I am. But what I wouldn't do is I wouldn't set up a business in the Bahamas or in Switzerland, or like you could do that, but it's a bit dodgy. It's a bit, you know, you could do that and that way it avoids paying tax in certain countries. I'm sure Uber does that, Starbucks does that. They have like an incorporation somewhere else and they do a couple tax dodge, you know, and they have creative accountants that help them do all that. But really, I would just say like stick to the rules. Just pay tax in the country where you are. For e-commerce, do you have to set up a business in America if you want to sell in America? Not necessarily, not if you're not doing Amazon. Oh yeah, Delaware. So set up if you're going to set up in the States and set up an incorporation in the States. So the difference with an incorporation is that people can't, well, it's like its own thing, its own entity. An incorporation separate person almost. It's a separate entity. So if somebody is after, let's say for like some crazy reason you get sued, they could only sue the incorporation. They cannot sue you personally. So they can't go after your personal car or your house or your assets or your money. They can't do that. They can only go after the incorporation if they sue the incorporation. So that's why having an incorporation is kind of like the safe thing to do. Okay, so, but you know, you can set up an LLC, an incorporation, whatever it is, it's different in the States. So in Canada, there's no LLCs, for example. You could do proprietorship, but all that stuff, it's just admin. It's not like, hey, this is going to help you build your business or anything. It's just admin. That's why I think that just go someone that specializes in how to do that, which are accountants, business lawyers, startup lawyers, stuff like that. So go see them. Okay, so this is my second time doing this video, so I hope I covered everything I covered the first time, hopefully. And yeah, so I will talk to you later. Thank you so much for listening. I hope this helps you out. I'll get you some more links to this video also, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.